Welcome, everybody. You ever feel like your life is just too complicated? There's too much family drama going on. You don't know who you love sexually and who you're related to. Sometimes it's both.
Welcome to the attic.
It's Beasties Pieces. Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Greetings to you from basically the attic
/ cabin.
Greetings to you from the cabin. I'm Tia.
I'm sorry, I'm Katie. I was having a sip. I'm Katie. It's good. We're off to a great start.
Yep. Welcome to VC's Pieces. I still can't really say it.
I guess
charming.
that's a. I didn't realize until we were coming up with the name that's like a colloquial thing.
Yeah,
that
I told you that.
I didn't realize. I'm telling dear listener, singular, that like Reese's. We say Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Is that just Maine or New England? Who don't know. We don't.
I don't know who know. I know it's. Probably New England.
If you could let us know,
dear listener,
Google
please. But yeah, it's Reese's Pieces. So I was like, we can't have VC's Pieces. That Pieces ain't a word. But here we are with VC's Pieces.
VC's Pieces. It's the same. The joke. You get the joke.
You get the joke.
You get the joke.
So here we are.
And today we're here.
On the heels of recording last night, which was great, but you're not going to know about that.
You're not going to know about that.
2 weeks.
Because we want you, dear listener, to read along. Maybe you got stuff to do.
Just like one of you.
Something to do in your life. Like, maybe you can't bust through one of these in an afternoon.
You probably can.
Probably could. But life it gets in the way.
Life
gets in the way. So we are reading the Castile series, number 2, Dark Angel.
The darkest of angels.
The darkest. And here's the synopsis of the story to bring you up to speed. In her grandmother's labyrinthine Boston house. Oh, it says house. I made it a home. We'll cut that. In her grandmother's fine labyrinthian Boston house, heavenly Castile dreams of a wonderful new life, of new friends, the best schools, beautiful clothes, and most important, love. She's determined to make the Castile name respectable, find her long-lost brothers and sisters, and have a family again. But even in the world of the wealthy, there are strange forebodings, secrets best forgotten, and as heaven reaches out for love, she slowly is ensnared in a sinister web of cruel deceits and hidden passions. A web!
One web, please.
Can I order a web?
I'd like one hot web on the rocks.
So
yeah.
How do we open?
Heaven's like in a limo with some
She's
people.
flying in.
Yeah,
Boston.
she flies in.
I think they do
pick
like
her
a
up.
recap, a blippity.
Yeah, like, oh, things died. Anyways.
They, I'm sure they're written to be... So I was actually thinking about this earlier. The idea that you could just grab this at an airport when you're waiting for your plane.
You really could.
So you gotta have a few pages of like... Blippy blip, fanny, tom.
They are peppered throughout.
Peppered.
Like, it's callbacks.
It's a seasoning of the Willies.
Yeah, Mrs. Dash. So she meets her maternal grandmother, Jillian.
Oof. Let me tell y'all, these are some stately grandparents.
For real. And
stately.
Jillian's husband, Townsend Anthony Tatterton. She calls him Tony. And she was just like, Jillian was like, hey, we're just going to say that you're my niece because I can't let any of my friends know how old I am. I'll pretend you're one of my sisters. Many illegitimate
offsprings. My sister's a whore.
Yeah, she was just like, no one can know how old I am. So she's 60.
Looks great.
She's a babe, which is awesome, and it's a divergence from how old people have been portrayed.
Yeah.
Except for, like, Nope, Corinne scratched the shit out of herself and looked bad.
They also, and what I like that they make the point is with the monies, with the skin creams.
Right, because Kathy was 50 and she was still toit.
She was toit.
Yeah.
Jillian is rich as fuck, and she gets the creams and the serums. I feel like I should start using a serum.
Right? Also, she gets to sleep until noon. So.
We will get there. About Jillian's regimens. But the point is, she's older than Granny Annie Brandywine Castile and looks fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, heaven is shocketh.
And Jillian's like, oh, this isn't Lee's father. Your mother, call your mother for me. Marky Mark was in the limo, too. And he was like, call your mother for me. Say hi to your mother. So they went to Wahlburgers. Wow. So Jillian's like, this is my husband. This isn't your grandfather. Your grandfather was Cleve Van Voorheen. And I wrote, that's the most monocle name I've ever heard.
Oh, it's so monocle. Just pop it right in there.
Cleve Van Voorheen. Lee Van Voorheen was your mother. So that's Stepdaddy Tony. Mm-hmm. That's Stepdaddy Tony.
Step-granddaddy Tony.
Step-granddaddy.
And while she's like on this ride, they're like, oh, so sad that your mother just died. How did she die? What happened? Your dad said like cancer, and Heaven's like, what the fuck? Oh my god.
That's kidding.
So he said that my mom just said, my mom fucking died seconds after squeezing me the fuck out of her vag. Like, what do I do?
And she lies about her age.
She just goes into this thing being like, oh no, Pa brought her home and like...
It was fantastic.
Built a new bathroom after she was married.
/ outhouse.
And I was born a year later. And like, but she doesn't mention any of her siblings. She says she's a year younger than she actually is.
I want to note for the listener that she lies about her age because she doesn't want the implication that her parents were like horned up for each other and fucked immediately.
Because they got married the same day that they met, I guess, which I didn't really know from
this or that. And Tony Tatterton, is like intense, like, and how old are you? Tell me how old you are. And she's like, I think I have ages. So that may come back later.
Who knows?
Who knows? But she do reduce her age by 1 year.
1 year. So she's 17. She says she's 16.
There we go. Lying. Oh, I wrote that. Lying about her age. I'm sure this won't come back and be a problem. I also wrote a quote from Jillian that I guess I skipped over. You know I need to rest between 3 and 5.
It's her siesta.
It's her daily naps.
It's her siesta.
She sleeps until 11 or 12, has a nappy nap later, and then goes out.
Just to show off.
Just to like be beautiful.
Sounds like a sick life.
Yeah, sign me up.
Only like I would like to have a little more substance.
They play bridge later.
No, I mean just her in general is just like, I don't know. I just need to stay young. I like don't want to do anything else.
That's it. Personality wise.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
So they're driving, and then all of a sudden they come up on this giant house. And what's the house called?
Farthingale Manor.
I wrote this note with like every other letter being lowercase capitalized.
Delia's catalog style.
Yes. Farthingale Manor. They call it Farthy. Farthy.
And I wrote Farthingale Manor. Isn't a farthing an old-timey money?
Oh, yeah.
A penny farthing.
So it's a storm of pennies. A gale of pennies.
I also wrote Fartingale Manor Seth Rogan laugh.
Nice. How does he do it?
You gotta like push out. You gotta like push it up.
It's not working.
Every night, based upon what I eat, I turn my bed sheets into Fartingale Manor.
So Heaven finds out that Tony is a toy maker.
Oh,
Toy maker Tony.
Toys.
Tony toy
For
maker.
the very fucking rich, by the way.
And she's like, oh shit, Townsend Toys.
My mama's baby doll.
That was the portrait doll was made from
portrait doll.
Tatterton.
Tatterton Toys.
Tatterton Toys.
Tatterton Toys. Top of the teeth, tip of the tape.
Tatter of the Tony
of the Tanny Toes.
Someone. And Tony's like, because Jillian went up to take a freaking.
She's like, I have to go take my beauty nap.
I have to go take my nap. And he was like, yeah, like
he was like, blah blah blah. It's Farthingale Manor, And she was like, these murals. And Jillian was a painter
Yeah.
and illustrator.
Yeah, how
And-
did she get so...
And then she was like, I'm done.
I just want to... I look good. I just realized how good I look.
Good. She painted murals in Farthingale Manor, and
When Tony thought
Chatterton-
she was 30,
Yes.
and he, like,
And
fallen
he
in
was like
love.
20, and he was like, it's fine. Yeah, like 10 years is a bit much, but it's fine. And then she's like, I'm fucking 20 years old. And
After they got married.
Woo,
He found out that she was
woof.
actually 40 and not 30, and he was like,
But she had
cool.
great legs.
Yeah, it was fine.
So it's a tour, and he's like, let me take you up to your rooms. They were your mother's rooms, and they're pristine. And I don't know if you noted this, and I noted this, that she notes that there is misted sunlight coming through the curtains, and like someone has filmy stockings. Like, gag me.
Ugh.
Misted and filmy.
It's because we're reading a soap opera.
True.
Vaseline on the lens, babe.
Misted and filmy.
Yep, everything's filmed.
It's very dream-like.
Yeah.
Or is it a nightmare?
It's a dream mare. It's a night dream.
So I don't have a note for a bit. So is there? I think you might.
So Heaven's like, wow, this is freaking crazy. And then she's like, I'm gonna go outside, go for a walk. And then she
they
was
have
like,
a maze.
and she's like, oh shit, a head maze. This looks pretty cool.
I love
I'm fucking
puzzles.
smart and stuff. So she gets lost as
It's
shit.
very confusing, this hedge maze.
She's just like, I thought that I'd kind of be able to figure it out. I'm not gonna be able to figure it out.
They also mentioned that, I think later on, Tony mentions at least once, maybe again, he's like, it's much harder than you think. Like, it's like a cheeky, extra clever maze for the rich.
Yeah, I don't even fucking know. I know that she ties like a piece of a
tissue.
kerchief or something around.
And, like, passes
And
it
then she'd be
multiple
like,
times.
cool, well, at least I know where my fucking kerchief is. And so
Panic.
she hears, like, pitter-patters. She's like, oh my god, I hear someone hammering. I'm gonna follow this hammer. And then she stumbles upon this, like, this cottage out of a grim fairy tale, nursery rhyme type situation.
I feel like she, like, first of all, fuck a hedge maze. Can't you just, like, arm machete your way through?
Probably not.
Like-
no, I don't. I think they're
I
pretty
would-
thick. I think in a pinch, maybe.
In a pinch,
But spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Shining, Jack Nicholson does die in a hedge maze. So, and he was real mad, so he couldn't get out.
if I'm panicked enough, first up, if I'm panicked enough, I'm snapping branches.
I'm just yelling first.
Okay, I'm snapping
We
branches.
have groundskeepers.
Yeah, so I'm snapping branches, and also I'm climbing up.
Yeah, maybe. I think that like the hedges that they use are like designed in such a way that you can't like put your weight on. Cause it's not like tree branches.
Then that's just mushed down. I'm making a direct
Alright,
line.
okay, yeah.
My
I kind of want to get you in a hedge maze now and see how you do.
not good. If you want me to wreck a hedge maze,
I would. If I
can you
had the
finance?
funds.
Can I finance a hedge maze?
We'd like to start a GoFundMe. Please send your paychecks.
There will be a point in which I like squat and piss myself out of terror, because as you know, you don't know, dear listener, I have directional insanity, and anyway, I get
Everyone's
lost
different.
easily.
Better safe than sorry when you're trying to go somewhere.
You know, if you want to see me panic and possibly shit myself in hedge maze, please donate.
Dude, let's fund this.
Do we have Depends available?
I will buy them. That'll be my contribution. It'll be amazing. Anyways, she stumbles upon this picturesque little cottage, and she like is timidly
she was like,
rapping at the
there
door.
must be a groundskeeper. It's so lovely. Someone lives here. Tweedly deedly dee.
She's like tentatively knocking, and then she just like
She
busts
just
through
busts
the door.
in. She like bursts in youngly.
And she's like, "Who is this man in the flowing blouse?"
He's very dreamy. Where do you picture his hair?
Where do I picture it?
I
On
feel
his
like
head? In a
Crotch.
chair next to him.
I picture it about like here. Just I'm it's like a long, kind of like not as long as like a Devon Sawa, but like maybe ears. It's like kind of like a Michael Hutchins mode, kind of like.
I was thinking like Uncle Jesse before the mullet got cut off.
I imagined curly.
No, it was really wavy though. They say his hair's wavy.
Okay.
Anyways, He's a babe. He's hunky.
He is hunked. He is a sexy, poetic antelope in a blouse. Because he
100%.
looks at her like very like, wakaka, like very big, like innocent face. And they are panting at each other. I should have written the page number down. Because they're just like raw sexual, like panting at each other.
Like, hey, who are you? Who are you?
Hi, I just fucking, like, he's, I actually took no, that's something else. I took a screenshot. She says he is radiating masculinity. So her pussy is throbbing. And it's just like waves of like sex coming off each other and crashing at each other. Like, radiating masculinity.
But she's also pissed because he like doesn't get up, and she's like,
Yeah.
"How dare you?" And he's like, "I'm fucking." You.
He's like, oh, a woman. They say they're lost here a lot. Leave, please.
She like tries to pretend like she's Jillian. She's like, "Excuse me, I came across your hedge maze." He's like, "I know you're freaking Jillian, or Julian."
So he's like tinkering and making toys, and then he's like, okay, whatever. You know what? Fuck it. Why don't you? I wrote this down. That dinner slaps. Because he's like, let's make dinner. Because Tony and Jillian fuck off and go to a party.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
That's why she stays for dinner. Because she asked the servant. She was very uncomfortable with servants.
She's like, something light.
Something light. So he makes dinner, and I will tell you what the dinner is. It's sandwiches. Troy has beautiful homemade bread, and it's like always
Constantly.
making sandwiches. And I like, you know this, but you, dear reader, don't. I love sandwiches so much. So I just wrote, that dinner slaps. There's 6 sandwiches. 6. And parsley and radishes, and there's cheeses and apple slices and like hard-boiled eggs, and like he's like, would you like a white wine or a red wine? And she's like, no, and like runs.
Yeah,
She's like,
weird.
wine.
My note was like they were dumb at each other because he was like, I don't care who you are.
And
She's
then
like,
he was
look at me, and then she's like, oh, I'm nice. He's like, yeah, you're fine. And then she's like, like it was so kids on the playground.
Yeah. So there was that, but also with delicious sandwiches that were abandoned. Sandwiches, cheeses, fruits, wine, hard-boiled eggs.
Carved the radishes to look like roses. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's that. The next note I have says, the deal, woof. So do you have anything before the deal?
Oh. No, I just wrote, Heaven tells a mostly truth to Tony, and Tony makes a deal with her. Yeah.
The deal. Okay. So he's like, all right, you can live here, and I'll pay for your schooling and all your things, and you are just here. But I get to choose your clothes. Because I hate the way people dress today. All sloppity-doppity. I get to sign you up for the school I want you to go to. I approve all of your friends and boyfriends and give you the permissions. Big fucking hit the brakes.
But why is there a deal?
Honk, honk, honk. Because Tony's fucking fucked.
No, because he was like, your story isn't quite adding up. What's up? And so she told Tony about the fact that, like, no, she died, like, Lee died when she was born, and they lived in a fucking shack, and things were shitty as hell. She still kept the thing about her age, but she did say that she had brothers and sisters and a stepmom that ran away after spiking a baby.
After there was a syphilitic monster baby fucking spiked into the dirt.
Yep. So that's why. And he was like, okay. Well, we're not going to tell Jillian that Lee died that long ago, because she's, like, already fucking crazy. She doesn't need to know anyways.
How do you feel about the deal?
It was extreme.
It was extreme.
It was extreme.
But if Heaven is like a survivor lady, I mean, I don't know. A part of me is like, just stick it out for college.
Yeah, in this scenario, for sure. Like,
but then I was like, that's a lot of fucking years.
it is, but it isn't. Like, I don't know. And like,
We're two older ladies.
to be honest, though, like, he doesn't end up being like that super strict with her. Like, as much as the deal made it seem like he was going to be.
Let's not spoil it.
I can say that. So knowing
You
that,
can.
like, the deal in and of itself, I was like, that's a lot. But also, he was like, I'm going to fund the rest of your life.
I don't know. I don't
go
like
wherever you
that.
want.
Like, I'll approve your friends and your
Oh no,
clothes.
it's totally messed up.
All right.
But it's better than like Kitty making her a fucking slave. If we're comparing apples, these are nicer apples.
These are gourmet apples.
These are apples from like Harry and David.
They're not Red Delicious. Those are the shittiest apples.
They can be, yeah.
And then I wrote, always a man shopping for her.
Yeah, it's true.
He picks out, and he's got, it's noted here, it's noted in later books, Tony's got great taste and a great eye.
Very sophisticated.
Yes. She does play bridge with Jillian, and they try to connect. Oh, yep.
Yeah. I noted computerized bridge in Terabang because if this is supposed to be like 1967, there's no fucking computerized bridge
They're
in
rich,
1967.
bitch.
No.
They are rich, bitch.
I don't think so. Can someone Google whether or not computerized bridge existed in 1967?
Anything prior to 1970. Let's even cast a wider net.
Yeah, there you go.
Time is immaterial. It's fluid. It's gender fluid. It's asexual. And then so Heaven's trying to get in with Jillian, and they have lunch, and she just has like champagne. And I wrote, Jillian says, "Y'all eat too much." She was like, "Heaven, the way you eat is disgusting. You ask for seconds and thirds, and it's gross. And you know what? I never want to eat with you again." And they stop having lunch together.
Well, also it's because what's her face? It's because Heaven won a game of bridge too, and she like said something. It's so messed up. I just want you to be my grandma, and then she's like, "Ugh." Don't. She's like, "When you go off to school, by the way, don't tell me about your problems. I don't want to hear anything about it."
She goes to Winter Haven School for Girls.
Yep, and she got herself a P.O. box, too, before she went. A secret P.O. box.
Secret P.O. box.
Tony says no communication with anyone
your
from your past.
Hillbilly relatives.
Yeah, but
Which,
nobody.
True.
No friends, no family, nothing.
Nope.
And she really wants to, like, write Logan, because she's like, you know what? If Tony, like, actually met him...
He's got quality.
He's got quality.
Her yoni burns for him.
Yoni?
Her yoni.
What's a yoni?
Her vaginal mound.
Yoni?
Her clitoris.
Yoni?
Her yoni.
Who says that?
Romance novels.
What?
Okay, girl.
Yoni.
Yoni.
Okay. Anyways.
So, yes, she does get the secret P.O. box. Logan is going to collage in Boston town, and maybe they'll run into each other.
Who knows?
We don't know. She goes to Winter Haven School for Girls.
And they're fucking bitches.
Tony sets her the fuck up.
He does.
Because she's dressed very old-timey in, like, form-fitting sweater sets, I guess. And they're all wearing, like, I don't know, it's like... This is, like, the late 60s, but they're all dressed for, like, the grunge era, apparently.
Yeah, I don't...
Sloppy, ill-fitting clothing.
Yeah, everyone's wearing a sack of some sort, apparently.
Yes, to rebel. Because they don't... In years prior, a couple years ago, the girls protested uniforms, and now, as a protest, they wear sloppy, ill-fitting clothing.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I just wrote... There's a nemesis. I wrote... Her name is Faith Morgentile, and I wrote, I can't with these names.
And then
there's also...
Prudence.
I don't know, Prue. There's also, at one point, they try to introduce her to a young man for dating, and his name is Colton Ames. Like, like, if I were a tech person, I would love to invent the VC Andrews name generator.
If we have any tech listener out there, please...
And it's like, how do you even define what that is?
I don't know.
You would have to select, like, a socioeconomic class.
You just have to, like, I don't know.
Because Fanny is a whore, and her name is Fanny. Heaven is pure, her name is Heaven. Colton Ames. My daddy's a senator. Faith Morgentile. A blue blood from Boston town.
Townsend Anthony Tatterton.
Tatterton of Tatterton Toys. Like, Cleve and Voreen.
Yeah.
That was my monocle. Oh shit, where am I? X. Yes. So, she don't have a good time. She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. They cut her sweaters. Or something. What do they do to her sweaters?
They like pull out the threads. They unravel her sweaters. They steal 2 of her jackets and they like they soak the other one or something. Like it's a wool jacket and they get it wet. And she like busts in on them all smoking in the bathroom and she's like, the fuck? And they're like,
Yeah. Why aren't you telling us? Eat a dick. So, Heaven hatches a plan to meet Logan. She hatches a plan to meet Logan, and she says to... Did I miss something?
yeah, like, well, Heaven and, Tony and Jillian go off to California. So that's when Heaven sneaks over to Troy's to, like, be BFFs. She's like, I know, like, you didn't want me here and stuff, and you're, like, kind of a recluse and whatever, but, like, let me just talk to you. And then she's like...
Sorry,
hey,
Troy's 23.
23. And Heaven is 18 pretending to be 17.
No, she's 17 pretending to be 16.
She's 17 pretending to be 16.
She is not of age.
Not quite yet. Because it's like the fall and her birthday's in February.
Who cares?
We're talking about her age!
I don't care when her birthday is.
I do. So she, like, convinces Troy to bring her to Boston.
Because she goes to Troy and is like, take me to Boston. Can you take me... How do I drive? Give me the car. And I said, yeah, Heaven, you should 100 try to drive around in Boston. I don't know. I've never driven in Boston. I'm going to be 40 this year.
You've never driven? I always drove. Or other people have always drove you?
Or you take the bus or the train.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fuck that noise.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's all one ways, and it's all circles. If you miss the Store Road Drive exit, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
If you're in the wrong lane.
You can drive to Somerville, though, by the way. That is an easy drive. I love driving to Somerville. Amazing. It's right before you get to the fuckery of driving in Boston.
So she's like, I can drive in Boston, because she's trying to meet Logan on the DL and, like, just run into him. So then he's like, all right. I kind of like about Troy, like, no. And then he's like, all right, let's just give it a shot. So he drives her into Boston, and I just wrote, of course, they just...
Boston's like, just, like...
it's like one street, like Winter Road.
It's like 100 yards long, and that's it. Boston, all of Boston.
They just happen to run into Logan.
So I think she's on the campus, and she sees him, like, walk by and go into, like, a corner store.
And he doesn't like her look, her rich.
He just ices her out. He doesn't say anything to her.
Oh, that's right.
She's like, hey! And he just, like...
looks right through her.
Like, walks away into the snowy evening or some shit.
Yep. And then she, like, unloads on Troy. And I wrote this down. Troy says, Heaven, you are exhausting. Mwah. Love it.
Not wrong.
And then, I also wrote lots of talk about Heaven's new stylish hair. Hair.
Which I can't really picture at all. They just are like, it's becoming.
It's becoming of her. It's becoming on her.
It's a different way than she's ever worn it. But, that's what makes it timeless.
See? It could be any time
like, it's
period.
the modern style. Like, that's it.
Yes!
So, obnoxious in trying to picture it because, like, I know it's not fucking right now. Written in the 80s, set in the 60s, but maybe they forgot. Who knows?
The next part I'm at is at the dance. Did you?
Yeah, so, like, Heaven did go to, like, the school matron.
The headmaster.
Yeah, to be like,
mistress.
They fucked with my clothes, and she's like, there's no proof in that. And she was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking tell people on you, whatever. And then she's like, no, but seriously, let me go to the dance. I don't have enough merits to go to the dance.
So, like, yeah, what's the headmistress is like, look, bitch, what? If I punish, are they gonna stop fucking with you if I punish them?
Yeah, they're gonna fuck with you more. And she's like,
fine, I don't have enough, like, points to go to the dance, but I'm going to the dance. And then
like,
I wrote, slutty red dress, nays. She calls Troy and is like, Troy, bring me the dress that's most beautiful because you're a man and you need to look beautiful. And he's like, I brought all four formal dresses.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know. I just brought the...
I don't know, fucking pick one.
Yeah. And she was like, I thought he would pick what looked best on me. And it's like, it's okay that he's not sexualizing you, my girl.
He's aloof.
Yeah, he is aloofing.
Slutty red dress, nice. So she goes to the dance, and when she opens the door, what do we see?
Everyone's just wearing, like, clothes that she usually wears.
Like a sweater set.
Like a sweater set, like cash. Even though, like, Heaven skulked around in their closets and, like, saw all of their skimpy dresses and stuff, and that's one of the reasons that she chose the dress that she did, because she's like, I'm just gonna make the boys love me. Like, at least I have something against them.
Heaven fights off, quote, strong male bodies seeking a cheap thrill by rubbing against me. So she is getting, like, dry humped into oblivion.
Yeah, seriously. Like, all the boys are making her dance. She's trying to fucking sit, and she's like, they're just swarming.
They're like, meet my turn.
Just like that.
Let me knock against you with my denim cock.
Good callback.
And then also this quote, which also made the bile rise in my throat. Male fingers tried successfully to feed me. I don't like the phrase male fingers.
I don't like the idea of
like, do you like this? I'm fingering her face.
Oh my god, she's not really. I'm not allowing. No. Yeah, like, the only time you should be using the word finger is if you're, like,
fingering someone.
No!
Consensually.
No. If you're just like, I got a paper cut on my finger.
While it was inside.
No.
Well, what do you...
It's not a fucking verb.
Oh.
No, it's disgusting. No. Do not use fingers as a verb unless it's pointing or flipping someone off.
I have a related question.
No.
We can take this off camera. We can take this off camera.
We'll see if we cut this or not. What? Fucking what?
What do you call it then?
You don't call it anything!
If you have to call it something, what do you call it?
Digital manipulation.
I thought you were gonna say that! Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you.
A handy.
A lady handy?
Just a handy. It's handy.
It's handy. It's using hands.
Yeah, it's using hands.
Okay.
Fingering. There's a fingering in my panties. It's not okay, dude. No.
Who talks like that? Who talks like that?
Anyone who says those things, yes. That's what it sounds like. To me, I don't care what their actual voice sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
So we're at the dance, and she's being dry humped and digitally fed.
Thank you. No.
And
whisked and whirled, and
all of a sudden, a cramp.
She's like, shit, it shouldn't be my monthlies.
Shit, it's time to shit, it's time to shit.
Shit, I gotta shit.
And she races to the nearest bedroom, locked.
Bathroom.
That's what I said.
It's a bedroom.
She ends up in the bedroom, sorry. She ends up, all the bathrooms are locked.
Except for, like, the one on the first floor is for guests. Go in that fucking one.
Shit yourself.
Go in that one.
So she runs to her bedroom and, quote, like, I was like, how VC gonna write about diarrhea? So what the sentence was Heaven had to improvise while her bowels rampaged. Mm-hmm. So she shits in a trash can.
With a garment bag in it.
I mean, great.
She was like, this is sturdy.
Great.
She's like, whatever, I've had to shit before in the woods. They think they're gonna get one over on me. I had a fucking outhouse.
That's just a camp toilet.
Yeah, which is like...
Bucket
I love that.
noodle.
She was like, yeah, it sucks, but like, as if I've shit anywhere worse. Like...
So she takes her shit bag and, like, creeps off to the showers and, like, tosses it down the laundry chute.
There is a moment where, like, she sees all the girls in the parlor of the bathroom with the showers.
There's, like, a sitting area. You've been to, like, a ladies' room.
Yes,
like
but this is one of those situations where, like, how the fuck did no one see her when she's, like, watching them, and then she somehow, like, sneaks past them.
Throws her shit bag.
To throw her shit bag, and then takes a shower. Because she hears them being like, I almost felt bad for her.
I guess I didn't like catch on that was before the shower. I thought she was done showering.
No.
And then while she was drying off and like
no, they were in there and she listened and then scuttled around.
Her filthy shithole.
Speaking of
her
filthy shithole.
creamy brown knot.
Nope.
So anyway, they're like, oh, so she like cousin and is like, and they're like, it's just, and Prudence, Prue, is like, it's just initiation. We've all had to do it. Why don't you go down the laundry chute?
That's the last thing you have to do is
and
go
then
down
you're
the
one
laundry
of
chute.
us, and we have so much fun and secret parties and secret candy bars.
Yeah, and Heaven was like, no.
Oh, well, if it's safe, why doesn't anyone here do it?
She was like, I also don't think that, she's like, I don't know the fucking basement. I'm probably gonna be stuck down there. You just gave me X-Lax. I don't fucking
She doesn't bring that up.
She doesn't. Yeah, because she's like, I felt fine. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, they're like, oh, you feeling sick? She's like, no, I feel fine.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Should I not feel fine? So she's like, I don't even know about this laundry chute. Where am I gonna go? And Prue is like, it's fine. And she's like, I don't believe that it's fine, unless one of you would like to go down the laundry chute, which we, the reader, knows has a bulbous shit bag at the end. Bulbous. And I like that Prue was like, I'll do it, but someone else should have volunteered because she's queen bee. So I then wrote, Prue takes a diarrhea dive.
Yep. She goes down there.
And is gone
And
there
it's
like,
yay! See, guys? And just screams bloody murder. Sorry, Bijou. I scared my cat.
and we believe just pops the shit
Oh,
bag.
yeah. She pops the shit bag.
I'm going to go pop a shit bag later in your bathroom.
Yeah, Prue goes down the chute into shit bag. And she's like gone for like 20 minutes while like...
Because she's cleaning the shit off of her.
But the other girls are like, oh, she's so dramatic.
She's so dramatic.
But also, where was she showering?
They unlocked all the where they got the keys, we don't know. But the implication being that
The other bathroom.
Other bathrooms.
I thought the bathroom they were in were the only one with baths and showers in it. Heaven talks about that.
You know, it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying, though. Plot hole.
Prue takes a diarrhea dive. So she and then Heaven's like, you know what? Oh yeah. So Prue's like, there you go. Like, I'm totally fine, and I didn't just land in a sack of shit. So go down the laundry chute, and Heaven's like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Like, I don't really need to be part of a group. Bye.
So they respect her. They don't fuck with her anymore, but they don't invite her to their secret like chocolate bar alcohol parties.
Probably just got like Boone's Farm.
The next thing I wrote was, how was she constantly sneaking into Troy's cottage? I was led to believe by Virginia Cleopatra that Tony Tatterton has his tapered fingers all up in her social life. How is she constantly sneaking there?
It's when they're gone, because they're out at parties and, like, gone for weekends and weeks traveling and shit. That's when she goes.
And I guess she's, like, all, like, ugh, why is he up in my life? Because then he'll be like, remember, no hillbillies. And then the quote I wrote down was, it seemed I could have no secrets from him. A fucking duh.
Yeah,
like, that was
part
the
of
deal.
That was the deal.
The deal. She also, then she goes back to, like, run into Logan again.
Yeah, she calls him for a meet. She was like, hey, I want to meet. And he was like, yes, that would be fine, Heaven.
Thank you.
So Troy gives her a ride in town.
Again. And she is in finery, and I specifically noted, is she wearing 7,000 jewelry?
I guess so. But also she's like, Troy, leave. Like, don't worry. I'll get a ride home from Logan, or I'll catch the bus or some shit, whatever. And when she rolls up at this restaurant, cafe they're supposed to meet at, she sees him through the window, and she's like, oh my god, it's Logan. And he's just planting a big old smoocher on a girl. And then he's like, I don't like you anymore.
She needs to show off that she is good now. She ain't little hillbilly Heavenly Castile. She is like
scumbag.
She has rings on every finger, I guess.
Which is a lot, you guys.
That's a look. And, like, Mr. T necklaces.
The jewelry man.
And it's like, look at me. And he's like, nice to see you. She, like, falls on ice, I think.
Yeah, she goes to run away from him because he's, like, such a dick.
And he has
slips and falls.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, you alright? And he's like, ah! And, like, hails a cab. And it
goes back to Troy.
Yeah, and then she sneaks in to Troy's.
While he's showering, and he comes out with a towel swathed about his hips.
And he's like, shit, you're a child. What the fuck? Let me put some clothes on. And then she's just like sobbing and stuff, and I think she takes a nap and he makes her dinner.
I
and
also
shit.
wrote lingering hands. I don't remember whose hands are lingering, but they fucking linger.
There's a lot of lingering hands in all of these books so far. Nope, you linger on me.
At some point, they go to... Tony is like, let's go to the theater, because Jillian's fucking crazy.
Well, that was when she, like, snuck back, and that's when Troy showed her the tunnels. Because she was like, how am I supposed to go? It's fucking blizzarding the fuck out.
It was a blizzard.
It was a blizzard. And so Troy shows her these tunnels. There's a tunnel from his cabin to the main house, and a bunch of other tunnels that were blocked off. And so she, like, sneaks through the kitchen up into her bed and just, like, goes to sleep. And then Tony bursts in and he's just like, the fuck? Like, why didn't you call? And she's like, and he's like, I know you didn't get...
That's right.
I know you didn't get a cab because the roads have been blocked from Boston
The roads
for
have
hours.
been blocked.
And then she was like, she told him that she was going to lunch with the girls.
The girls.
And she was like, I was afraid they were going to be mean to me again. I just snuck back in the house and I was too ashamed to tell you. And Tony was like, okay, that seems legit.
So, dear listener, I'm sure we're all, if I know our listenership, we're all pretty fucking good sneakers and liars. So what you do, the classic move, is you avoid the bigger lie by confessing to a smaller lie. Mm-hmm. Well done, Heaven.
Nice job.
The next one I wrote, they were going somewhere, or Christmas shopping.
He takes her to Tatterton Toys.
Yes, I wrote I like to jot down Tony quotes because they make me eye roll. And this one was, you can't tell a person's worth by their clothes anymore.
Oh, right, because he doesn't like how people dress now.
Right, rich people dress poor, and that's upsetting to him.
Oh, Tony Titty.
Titty Tatterton.
Titty Tatterton. So they go to Tatterton Toys like the beginning of the
holiday shopping.
The holiday season, and she's like overwhelmed with how intricate and amazing it is.
She's buying gifts for all of her family for the day they're all... We didn't even address the fact that her ultimate goal is to get all of her siblings back together again. She is buying them gifts and, like, stuffing them away. They're not gonna want those. They're not gonna want those.
I don't know.
I know that people grow and age.
Well, the thing is that she also doesn't know when she's going to see them again, so she wants to be prepared.
Oh, footsies. No, that's fucking weird.
Okay.
I don't like that.
You have no sentimentality.
I don't. This is... reading a V.C. Andrews book is like pawing through like a garbage can to me.
That is rude. We love her.
That's rude. The next thing I wrote, Fanny calls Heaven. Did you have that notated? And am I ahead of you or behind you?
I'm not sure. I don't have it notated. But when they are at Tatterton Toys, Heaven asks a lot of times, like, "Hey, portrait dolls, did you ever make one of my mom?"
He's like, "No."
And he was like, "No." And she's like, "Are you sure? Like, do you think anyone else did?" He's like, "No, I have to do this shit." So
he's like, "No, shut up."
And then she was like, "That's fucking weird," because I literally had one.
If only Kitty hadn't burned it. Fanny calls at some point, and I just kind of was like, how did she get Heaven's number? Because she's like, I keep calling, but they can't understand my twang.
I keep calling, but they can't understand my accent. I think Tom gave her the phone number, or she wrote and gave her the phone number.
Probably. Why would she do that? Would Tony be monitoring her calls?
It seemed to
Why
be like
does she
Heaven
keep
had her
calling?
own line. Yeah.
Is like the 80s kind of see-through phone?
Which is weird.
Why would you do that?
Because Tony seemed like he wanted to control everything, so I don't know.
Troy's teaching Heaven how to ride horses.
Not yet.
Okay,
Heaven graduates. And Tony and Jillian, like, she introvites her families.
She graduating from the high school.
Yep, from high school. And she tells Tony and Jillian, and they're like, well, we're going to be in London. Like,
yeah, we got shit to do.
Seriously should have told us this, like, when you knew, because, like, we can't cancel it. And she's like...
I think they mentioned they moved the date up just so that she's blameless.
Oh, yeah, something. Whatever.
Something.
Also, I don't think she mentioned.
Yeah, so she...
And she's like, she's bummed.
Fair.
Rightfully so, because,
Fair.
you know, she's like a scumbag.
She's very
Castile.
family-oriented.
And she just wants someone to be like, hey, you graduated high school, unlike everyone else in your family. So she's like,
I think she whines at Troy, and he's like, oh, I guess that sucks for you.
And then Troy shows up with a bunch of Tatterton toy employees. Like, they keep up a whole row. Take up a whole row, and they all, like, standing over her when she graduates. And I thought that was really nice. And then Troy hung out.
Hung out?
And, like, for the dance after the graduation, I danced with her, and then he drove them back, and he told her, like, hey, I talked to my lawyer friend, or the PI or whatever, and I think I might have a lead on...
Right, because she has those portraits, and he's like, oh, Olin Mills. We can look that up.
But also, I'm pretty damn sure that Pa gave the full names, like, at the end of the first book, so...
You're pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. I could find it.
It's fine. So they're tender, and I think that she is, like... just, like, ready for a smoocher from Troy. And he's like, all right, fuck off.
Yeah, because they're in the garden. She's like, oh, Troy, even though it's like midnight, let's not let the night end. And then she's, like, giving him sparkle moony eyes. And he's like, you're a child bite. Like, runs off in the rain. And she's like,
So then, at some point... I think while they're away.
Yeah, they're in London for like a couple of weeks.
And then Troy's like, let's go horse. He was like, I know that Jillian was always going to promise you a horseback lesson. Let's just go horseback riding. So he teaches her and teaches her and teaches her. And he's like, all right, we're going to go out. We're going to go out for the day now. And that's a day with storms predicted.
Oh no, why would they call it storms?
So, riding out with storms predicted. So, I hope they don't get stranded anywhere.
And he packed a picnic.
There's a picnic for lunch.
But what did this picnic, specifically include? Which I wrote in caps. Potato salad and fried chicken! So far, this book series has mentioned attic a couple of times, too. I'm interested to see if...
When did they mention attic?
Just like, oh...
Where?
Not like anyone was in there, but like...
Wait, who had an attic? Attics didn't exist in the shack.
They have mentioned attics. Not in the shack.
Where?
I promise you. I did not write it down, but they have mentioned attiques. Just as a place where you put stuff, not children.
So, Heaven lays out a beautiful, like a crisp tablecloth and like arranges dishes and then like just drops in, what if we live together?
Yeah.
And Troy's like, okay. And she rage quits the picnic.
100%. Like, he's
just like, oh, it's fucking fine. It's fucking fine then. And, like,
so
hucks the dishes like I was gonna, like, rinse them in the river or whatever. She, like, hucks them back in. She's like, I guess I'm fucking done with this picnic if you don't want to live together.
Yep. Like, she made the cake or something, and he was, like, asking for a second piece, and then she was like, we could do this all the time.
We could just live together.
And he was like, oh, that's
a lot of information.
That's a surprising
thing
to just say. And then she's like, ah!
She rage quits the picnic and, like, blumbles off. These are all farthing grounds, by the way. Which, can I break the fourth wall here? And my husband, because this was as I was reading this to him, this bit, he was like, where the fuck in Boston has grounds and, like, you can hear the ocean? And I said, I guess it's outside of the... Fair point.
I don't know. Is it Cape Cod?
Where, like, are they in Boston proper?
I don't know. I just don't know.
I don't know. So anyway, there's grounds for days, and they're just on the grounds, and
I think they are outside. Sorry, I think they are outside Boston because Heaven talks about going into Boston to shop.
They can hear the ocean from Farty Manor.
Not even hear it, but they can.
They go there.
See
I think they go there. Yeah. Anywho, so she is blumbling around
on a horse that she doesn't know how to ride. She's like, I'm gonna take this and fly off.
I think the horse fucks her off.
Yeah, the horse knocks her off, and then she just sits in a puddle for like an hour and cries. And like listening to Troy trying to be like, hey, the fuck you went, dude. I don't understand. And then she just kind of like waits for his like voice to die down.
Yeah, and
he's still sitting in the puddle.
Is just like adorably charming, and it's like, all right, let's go. Let's go back. It's fine. Shut the fuck up. Takes her back. And so she's laying in bed in like her filmy peignoir. And then at nighttime she hears Troy calling her. And she's like racing through the maze in her filmy peignoir with her sprained ankle. She like sprains her.
Oh yeah.
She sprains her ankle.
He says he is not a doctor.
He is not a doctor. So she has like a janked up ankle, but is also racing through the hedge maze to him in a filmy peignoir. And then they fuck.
This was after earlier they were in a barn.
Oh, I forgot the barn. It was like a rainy barn, and they were like,
this other old barn is closed.
This is also our grounds. It's a barn. Let's have tenderoni times, and they do like some tender smoochers.
Yeah, a little bit, and then he's just like, "Oh, you're a kid, though." And she's like, "I wish I could tell him I was older."
Didn't she there? At some point, she do reveal her real age.
Yeah, I actually stopped writing notes after potato salad and fried chicken, so
your mind broke.
Yeah, it was just like my pocket dialing, writing notes. It just says, no, I'm.
We should get some chicken.
We should.
So then after they fuck, Troy has a melancholia. And he's like heaven. I need to confess, so you know what you're getting into. I just wrote, does Troy have sad? Because he's like, summer's good and spring is fine, but I always know winter is coming.
Yeah, he's got some depression.
He has clinical
anxiety.
Depression.
Oh, and also like I guess he's been sick since he was born, like mystery illnesses, like a bad
life
immune system or something.
Laid up,
like in the hospital for weeks or in bed for weeks sometimes.
Yeah. I wrote, so Troy has sad, and he's always like, I just can't escape my feelings, and I am so pale in my cottage.
But he doesn't like use that against her at all either. Like when he says like I don't want to bring you down with me, I read that as him being genuine, not like go if you don't.
Yeah.
Which is totally different from a lot of every other character that we've kind of come across.
Troy is like the most honest character.
Yeah.
He's like, I am fucked up on the inside. I don't know if you want a part of this.
Yeah.
And I also wrote,
in the trapping way.
Troy should be happier full of all that homemade bread. Carbs.
It's clinical depression when homemade bread doesn't help you feel happier.
Okay. They get engaged.
Yeah,
they're a couple now.
The bumping and the
They're
thumping.
a couple now, and she confesses to Tony, and he's like, all right, cool.
He's like, I actually wanted you.
He's like, I know you were sneaking out. You think I don't know shit? I know all of your shit.
And they're like, yeah, we're just gonna get married in like 2 weeks. Quick.
But,
Heaven's gotta do some visiting.
Hold up. I found wandering maze, carbs. Okay, so I think he like fell asleep near an open window and was like, I have like clinical pneumonia and I'm in a hospital. Yep. And Tony's like, why? You were supposed to protect him from himself. Troy thinks he's gonna die before he's 30. That's his burden unto himself.
But like especially he thinks he's gonna like die before he's 25. But definitely before he's 30.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, he says that, like, he sees his gravestone in his dreams, but there's no, like, date.
How convenient.
I think that he just kind of, like, lives in 5-year bursts in his brain. It's like 25, before 25 or before 30.
Or 30.
Yeah.
So he's helping her find her siblings, and, he's like, no, it's great, I got it. And, he's in the hospital, and Troy's like, no, go find your siblings. Yeah. And she lies a little bit because she knows that Tony hates the idea of her going to find her siblings, and she's going to shop for her trousseau, in New York.
Which I learned about.
That's your honeymoon luggage.
Yep.
All very much a secret from Tony.
Yeah, and Tony's
he's
like, seriously,
what are you going to get?
Yeah.
You're going to go get clothing? And she's like, it's what Troy wants. Don't you love Troy? It's what he wants. So she goes, where is it? Is it Baltimore?
Mm-hmm. Baltimore.
She goes to Baltimore to the fat lady.
Meets John Waters.
to the fat couple, as they noted prior. They surprisingly attractive.
Right?
So here's what happened. I said, Heaven calls for one day and heckin' panics. No one answers for one day. And like, we know what's gonna happen. You know why we know? Because she is 100 sure as soon as she sees Keith and RJ, they're gonna run to her arms and family. Now, if you know about human beings at all, why the fuck would you think that would happen?
Because she was like a parent to them, and she hadn't experienced like what happens when you like know a kid and then don't see a kid for a week, and then they're just like, who are you?
So no one answers the phone. She has like the number of the family, and no one answers for a day, and she goddamn fucking panics. And she calls Troy and is like, hey, no one answers. And Troy's like, can you, like, maybe they went on a day trip.
Yeah, like, it's the
fucking
weekend.
Chill. And I also wrote, so she's like, I only packed enough for the weekend, because I'm grabbing these kids and I'm out.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, babe.
Ma'am. So, I think she talks to the lady, and she's like, look, these are really well-adjusted kids.
Yeah, they used to cry all the time, and like, it would break my fucking heart if you upset them, like, please.
You can look at them from a distance.
Yep.
Here's our church. And she does.
It was like the church school.
It was church in times, and she does, and she gets her fill. But can she stop there?
No, she cannot.
I believe she realizes that it would be she sees their love. She follows them, and she's like, oh, they didn't check to see if I was following them, idiots.
Yeah, she like goes in a cab, and she's like, haha.
Follow them. Follow that car.
Yep.
And sees their lovely home, and she's like, there's like fucking nice shit on the sun porch, and Keith has paints, and he can be an artist, and like, Arjane is beautiful, so, with her dolls. And she's like, I just wanted to like say hey, and she is like hey, and they're like, yeah!
Well, she was planning on not saying anything because she's like, okay, the nice, surprisingly pretty fat mom was like, she was right, so I'm gonna scooch away, but they have a puppy that starts barking at her, and she's like, no, go away, and then she gets up to leave, and like they just see her, and they're just like, ugh! And she's like, hey guys, and then they just freak out.
I wrote raw-boned because she noted that that Arjane was not raw-boned. Again with the raw-boned. So, where does she go next?
I believe she goes to visit Fanny next.
Nope.
No?
She goes to find Tom. She likes Tom way better than Fanny.
I thought she saw Fanny first, and that's when she went to Winter afterwards.
Because I was writing as I was going.
Oh, okay. Shit.
So she goes to see Tom in Georgia, I believe. And it is extremely mysterious about Pa's business.
Oh, yeah.
His business. He's remarried to Stacy with an IE, I believe. They have
seems lovely.
They have a little boy named Drake.
Who seems lovely.
So Heaven is again wearing 4,000 jewelries, and like clothing.
In like a stuffy suit in the hotness.
Yeah. She has a rental car and like is like, where the fuck am I going? And she finds like a lovely ranch home and like lovely Stacy and lovely Drake, and everyone's like cool. She specifically says to Tom, I don't want to see Pa. Like, I'm not ready to see Pa, but I want to see you. Just make sure he's not there. Mm-hmm. So when she gets to the address, she's like, oh, you must be Heaven. Like, Tom, there was like an emergency. They had to go, but like, let's have some tuna fish sandwiches. I was making tuna fish.
Seems lovely.
She's lovely. And
Pa finally got his look-alike son. Drake.
Yeah. Stacy is blonde, which she realized that Pa liked. And I wrote that he seemed to prefer redheads for rough romps. Mm-hmm.
And apparently no brunettes at all.
No brunettes. No. Redheads like Kitty and Sarah for their rough romps. So they just kind of like hang out, and she's like, oh, Drake's cool, I'll send you toys. I do toys. That's what I do. I would like to see Brother Tom. And so she's like, here's the address. And where is Tom working?
Heaven shows up, and it's a fucking circus.
I also notated that she wrote a second-rate circus.
Yeah. I don't know what a first-rate circus is.
He's like
First-rate circus would be one without fucking animals that are trapped there.
It was the whatever year.
No, what I'm saying, that would be a first-rate circus to me.
To you and your heart bones.
Yeah, like a first-rate circus, Cirque du Soleil.
Really?
Yes. They're all fucking talented.
Okay.
Anyways.
So, she's like, what the fuck is this? Does Tom say, like, oh, no, didn't you know this? You know this is Daddy's dream, right? Call back to the tiger poster.
Exactly. She saw a tiger poster on the side of a thing, and she's like, oh, man, this is like the original...
Tiger poster.
That's the same. Because apparently, like, Pa Luke Castile wanted to go to the circus, was not allowed, so he, like...
It was his, like, escape.
Yeah, so he, like, ran to the circus, stole a tiger poster, and went home. And then just fucking held on.
He held on to that dream. And is Tom dressed like a clown?
Not at this point, no.
He's feeding tigers. Feeding tigers. And he's like, we're gonna save up enough to buy the circus outright. It's 10 grand. We got like 7 grand. Like, we're so close. From Mr. Winterbaron. Mr. Winterbaron. If you had the VC Andrews name generator and plugged in as a profession, circus owner, it would spit out Winterbaron.
If anyone has like a spare AI they could teach this algorithm to, please email us at bcspeciespodcast@gmail.com.
She goes to the circus. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
She goes to, like, check it out. Pa is, like, the ringmaster man.
The announcer. Ringmaster man. The barker? I think
yes,
it's a barker.
The barker. I screenshotted and highlighted something. And I am wondering if this spoke to you. Here's the passage so she goes in, she's like, Tom deserves better than this. He said he wanted to be president. Like, it's okay for Pa. He's shitty. This is the best he can do. Not for Pa. So she's in line, and she sees him barkering around, and he's looking fantastic with his Indian black hair.
And his non-syphilitic health.
So here's the passage I highlighted. So he's like, she's just standing in line, and he's there. I stared up at him, at his feet clad in black patent leather boots that almost reached his knees. Then came his strong, long legs, clad in the tightest possible white pants. His masculinity was very obvious, taking me back to grade school days when the kids had snickered at pictures of dukes, generals, and other notables who so blatantly displayed themselves in pants fitted like those that Pa wore.
She saw his bulge.
Why? Why did we need to know that?
Because bodies. Yeah, no.
Just that we know that he is like a man. He's a man. His mound radiates masculinity. It is non-syphilitic.
It's like a light beam coming out of his dick.
That's not a thing that humans do. We don't genitalize people.
I think if I noticed someone's bulge, I would notice it, but I wouldn't be writing it in my third person diaries.
I wouldn't
write it on my real diary. I might have a think in my head if I see someone's like very detailed mound. I'll be like, wow, there that is. But I'm not going to write it about it.
Exactly. This isn't a thing people do. AI that writes this book. I'm not going to bust into your home and be like, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in forever. You look great. What a vivacious vaginal mound you have. Mons pubis on point.
I just wanted to tell you that's like something I'm really disappointed about in our
Your
friendship.
Mons pubis is on point right now.
So is yours.
Thank you. So basically...
And she's wearing like a hat to be like sneaky.
Don't look at me. And he's like, hat off, lady.
He's like, why are you wearing a hat at night? And then he's like, you look great, bye. Then she scampers off to see Fanny.
Yeah, she fucking scampers off to see Fanny. She noted, Fanny's in Nashville. She sold her baby to be a singer-actress.
She's out of money already.
She's at a house that is falling apart. I wrote dilapidated Fanny because the house is falling apart. There are young girls
Seems like
wearing
a halfway sort of house.
wearing halter tops and cigarettes dangling.
That was talking about cigarettes dangling. Listen, I'm a smoker and I've tried to just like hold it in my mouth. That smoke gets in your eye.
How dry are your lips?
They can be dry.
Because like I feel like remember that scene in like Ghostbusters where
where and it falls. No, I don't. I'm just saying to even just hold it in your mouth. You can't. You're like, my eyes sting and they're watering.
It's because they're sluts.
Oh,
okay.
We're not slut shaming, by the way.
But they are.
They are women in unfortunate circumstances that have to make do with their situation in order to survive.
Dilapidated. I also wrote down that Heaven noted she looked like a shapely pencil.
Yeah, I remember that line. What the fuck is that?
Because she's starving and hungry but has honker monkers. She has huge milkers.
Milkers again, yo.
So basically...
Shapely pencil, that's not a thing. Pencils are pencils.
She's very thin with giant tits? Question mark?
And the birthing hips that she got from birthing Darcy.
Baby Darcy. So she's yakking and blacking along about how no one wants to have her sing because she got too much twang. She can't act, and she's just gonna marry old Mallory for his money. And because old Mallory will pay for Darcy, yucca, and Heaven gives her like fancy clothes and a purse with like $100 bills in it.
And she's being such a bitch about it. She's just ripping into things and being like, "What's this? What's this?" And
oh,
she's like,
this is it. This is all you can give me.
Yeah, you're dining on your silver plates and your golden forks and all that, Heaven. You give me this pin money.
They go out to dinner and like there's a special note that Heaven has that Fanny has pierced ears. Hussy. Because like this book will go into great detail and future books about what people are wearing and most specifically what outlandish thing Fanny is wearing. So special note that she has pierced ears. So they're blowing up at each other, and Fanny's like, you give me money, you go buy my baby back, or else I'm gonna go up there to Boston. Because Heaven like let her wig down and was like, here's some information. And she's like, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna be like, I'm a hillbilly unless you buy my baby back. And this beautiful quote, I can't cut the mustard because you done snatched the whole jar. Chef's kiss. What does that mean? We don't know what the jar is, how Heaven snatched it. Don't know.
Fanny thinks Heaven is like horrible because Heaven isn't horrible. And Fanny feels like shitty about herself because Heaven isn't shitty. So she blames Heaven for just being herself who isn't shitty. Because she was like, you should have convinced me better not to sell my baby. When like fully Heaven was like, are you sure? Are you sure, Jen? Are you sure?
I also wrote at some point, so yeah, Heaven's gonna go back to Winterup for some fucking reason to check on Grandpa.
Yeah.
And she calls Troy and is like, here's what's happening. And Troy's like, pause. And he goes, well, I won't beg you to come back. So fucking obviously he's like, can you come back?
Yeah, and like legit, he's been like sick and scared of dying, and he's so
frail.
He's so mentally
ill. He's such a sexy antelope in a blouse.
He's mentally ill, but he's also very kind about it. Not saying that people who are mentally ill can't be kind, but
the specific character is.
Yeah, he really is. He's just like, okay, I guess you know what you're doing.
She goes to Winterow, and all caps. For some fucking reason, Logan and Maisie are a thing. Maisie Setterton. What's her name? Kitty's sister. Like, I'm not buying this. I get that it was just like a thrown in gaspy moment.
It's because he was jealous of Cal. That's why. It's like literally said in the next book. That's why. It's because he was like, oh.
I just feel like because Logan had quality, I feel like Maisie was below him because she was like, didn't I feel like they mentioned like she was like not as pretty?
I guess so, but also, I mean, her parents weren't like dirt poor or anything like
They
that.
were not.
They were not.
So that levels it up a little bit.
They weren't from the hills or the valleys or whatever the hell. They were from the city.
I wrote, sad Cal try to manipulate Heaven.
Oh yeah, she runs in a fucking cow, and
he's like, they're trying to fight the world's money and Kitty's money. Heaven, I'm sad. Let me honk your boob.
And she's like, fucking no.
And then he's like, let me just walk you to your hotel room.
Yeah.
Here's my face. Let's
and
get.
she's like, fucking
no. But obviously, Logan sees this.
Logan sees it, and he's like, oh, I want to kill him.
So Heaven takes her rental. She's always having the rental cars. She takes her rental car up to the shack to find Grandpa.
Because they're like, oh, he's in the cabin alone, and she's like, oh no.
It's storming and
as fuck.
She's like in the mud, and her rental car is like in the mud, and like, who's her knight in shining hard cheeks?
It's Logan, because the car is like legitimately stuck. Like, it's not going anywhere. And he shows up and he's like, alright, get in, I'll go to check on your grandpa.
But a little skosh prior to this, when she's like cowling away, she's like, I was like having a headache, I felt a little like woozy, but I pushed through it. It must have just been my fifis, my feelings. So obviously, Heaven and Logan are caught in this rainstorm. Yeesh. And he takes her to the cabin. What about the cabin?
And Heaven was like, the fuck are you talking about, this cabin? It's like a legit log cabin now. With electricity. And she
like
goes
a nice, like 3 to 4 bedroom home.
Yeah, with an upstairs.
A bathroom, a lovely kitchen.
Yep, with a dishwasher. There's a landline in there.
It's just like a house now.
Yeah, they like Pa made it nice for Grandpa because Grandpa gets, yearning for the hills, and, that's where Annie is. In her empty rocker. It's so sad. I can't deal with it.
So Heaven's sick.
Well, she's just like, oh, cool, I can't believe this is here, whatever. And then she's also just, like, still, like, raging at Logan for whatever. She's like, I don't need your help, I'm gonna fucking walk back to my car or some shit.
And passes out.
She passes the fuck out on the porch. And
now.
she's, like, blacked out for a week, basically.
Now. Here's the divergence. You're Team Logan and I'm Team Heaven.
I'm just I'm just a person on the sidelines being like, wow, he stuck around to care for you and make sure you didn't die.
So I wrote, of course she's so sick. Oh, Logan needs to tend to her with his stubble cheeks.
Well, there was also the roads were washed out anyways, but that doesn't mean he had to like help her. And then the nurse lady sprained her ankle. Everyone's spraining fucking ankles around here. And
character disposed of.
Yep. She was there for like 2 days and then sprained her ankle. I don't know. It seemed like Heaven was there for like 2 weeks, but I think it was like 3 to 5 days or something. I don't know. Couldn't leave. All the phone lines were down. The roads were flooded.
He's like ramming like Dayquil down her face hole.
Just trying to feed her. He's like, you can't. And she's like, I will get up. And then we'll just fall over. And he's like, hey, you don't need to act like this. Like, it's fine.
So during this whole cabin sickness, here's what I read. That Logan was a dick to her 2 times in Boston. And he's rubbing Maisie in her face. He shat on her for Cal for like survival sex. And she's like, why do you only need me when I'm weak, when I'm poor, when I'm needing, when I'm sick? Like, where is Logan when Heaven is strong and long and down to get the friction on? Where is Logan when she isn't in a needing position? And this whole dichotomy of her being sick, and he's like, like feeding her, and you're so weak and helpless. And this is the Heaven I like, is weak and helpless Heaven. That was my read on it. But
sure, but that's also just what she was like. She decided, like, oh, he only likes me when I'm poor and whatever. Again,
are you saying that I just read exactly what was written?
Again, I'm going back to the fact that these are like still pubing out young people. So Logan didn't take the time until Heaven got better to hear about that Cal, like, totally groomed her. And as soon as he found out, he was like, I was an asshole. I should have listened to you. I couldn't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
But, like, that's just what happens with people. The difference is this dude will be like, yeah, fair enough. Like, she's been such a dick to him. Like, anytime she feels bad about herself, she takes it out on him.
I wrote, the thing I'll give you about this whole, like, mystery time of being sick in the cabin, where it's timeless, is she needs to get back to Troy, so let's slap away the medicine.
Yeah.
And then I said, she is right, though. It was manipulative to sponge bathe her.
Well, she was covered, it was like her arms and stuff.
I don't know.
She was, you need to be cooled down when you have a fever. That's why you sponge bath.
All right. So at the end, she goes back to Troy, and then I wrote, what a fucking moron. All that and no family to bring back to Boston.
None.
What a goddamn idiot.
Yeah.
Nothing to show for all this effort and time and emotional toil, you goddamn idiot.
Because Fanny is like, oh, hey, yeah, I knew you wouldn't be able to get my... Yeah, P.S. She tries to buy the baby back.
Oh, yeah, also that.
And then Robin's like, I've seen you try to see God. And then, like, she just realizes, like, oh, yeah, no, Fanny's gonna be a shit mom.
Sucks.
This baby is fucking great here.
Way better.
And then she calls Fanny, and Fanny's like, yeah, I knew you probably couldn't do it anyways. And then she's like, cool, thanks for sending me there to get embarrassed as fuck.
There's a point wherein she gets back, and...
They were talking.
She gets back, and Tony's like, where the fuck were you? Come to my office. And she's like, I need to see Troy. And he's like, you don't need to see Troy. Come to my office. And she's like, and Tony's like, did you lie about your birthday? And she's like, yeah, who gives a shit?
He's like, well, yeah, because, like, Troy kind of mentioned it with the plans, like, tell me everything.
What's your real age?
When was your birthday? When did this happen? And then he was like, fuck.
I definitely repeatedly raped your mother.
Yep.
My note was casual and continual statutory rape.
Yep. Because apparently Lee was pissed that her mom
She was a
married
very
Tony,
sexy child.
And yeah, at fucking 13, she was like, decided to get back at Jillian for ignoring
unquote.
her by seducing. No, I'm sorry. No. This is what the book said, but no. Seducing Tony.
20. I was only 20. What could I do?
And so he, like, took her into his office just to scare her, but then
Just
it was like,
to
no,
scare her. Then it was like, I'm fully raping her. I was just going to show her that you couldn't play an adult game.
And then apparently she was like...
And then it just kept going.
I'm into it. But I don't...
Quoth Tony, I'm into it.
Yeah. It was really upsetting, you guys.
There was casual and continual statutory rape. And quoth Tony, you know, because Heaven's like, what? And he says to her, you know, despite it all, I did love your mother. She was just a kid.
This is the sound of me being sick to my stomach. No, I don't want to joke about that. It is disgusting. I shouldn't be made sick. I do want to gag, though. I played it up, though. Not cool.
I wrote, was Troy in a fugue state when Heaven came back? Because she's like, you know what, Don, I don't even care that you're my uncle-ish.
Yeah, she was like, well, what the fuck? And then she's like, oh my god, like, I'm
He was
not
like staring.
Kid.
He was just staring.
Well, also,
and she's like, Troy. And it was like, and he like clicks back in because he's fucking weird. And then I also just wrote with many question marks, what is Troy even? Because she's like shaking him and he's like, I think his eyes are rolling around.
Yeah, of course. Anytime anyone shake, their eyes are rolling.
And he's like, oh, I'm here now.
Mental illness is a complicated thing.
So then they have like a night and a fuck. And he says to her, I did my best to make you conceive.
He did say that. That was a weird...
That was a weird fucking thing. He wrote it in a note. I think he notes out of that. And he spills the tea and is like, all right, Jillian told me what's up. And then...
Heaven's like, fuck. Because Tony was like, you can't marry my brother now. Like, I didn't know that you were my kid. Like, And I'm kind of psyched. Like, that's really cool that I have an heir.
The Tatterton name lives on.
He's like, I really kind of
That's
want this to work.
that's a lot for having to process.
Yeah, no shit.
And then he's like, but fuck it, man. You're the heir now.
And she's like, I gotta step away.
I'm still gonna marry Troy. And then Jillian told Troy because I guess she always hated Troy for being sickly and taking Tony's attention away.
Yep. And not being cute for parties because he was in a bed.
Yeah, so does Jillian break it? Is this when Jillian breaks?
Yes, because Heaven comes back in after she finds Troy's note because Troy skipped town.
Yeah, and he's like,
I can't fucking go.
I can't marry you.
I can't marry you. I did try to get you pregnant. Things are clearly fucked up.
I tried my best to make you conceive, but it is wrong if we marry.
He's like, clearly there are problems. I gotta bounce before this gets even worse.
Maybe I'll shoot a baby into you.
Ugh. So, Heaven goes to confront
Jillian.
Tony.
She confronts someone.
And then Jillian comes in, or something. I don't know, yeah. And then Jillian just fucking face cracks.
Yeah,
and that's when Tony 100% knows for sure. Because Lee had told Jillian before she ran away that she had missed 2 of her periods.
Yeah, so it's like... Yeah. Also, it's like, because there's no DNA at this point in time, he's like, look at your fingers, Heaven. They're tapered Tatterton digits. Tapered Tatterton tappies. Tappy, tap, tap, tap. Tapered. And then, so that's confirmed. Confirmed. Maury Povich, you are the father. And she cracks.
He's like, your granny never said anything about you being born early, right? And Heaven's like, no. Fuck.
And so
half psyched, half so pissed.
They do a passage of time, like, oh, Heaven's in college, whatever.
She notes that the years go quicker after Troy's been gone.
She has a college graduation party with Keith and Jane come by. Mm-hmm. And I wrote, oh, please no, do not describe our Jane's budding breast.
And she does.
They do notate that. She has a budding breasticle.
Something about them, like, hard little knockers or something. It's bad.
Why?
We just need to know everyone's breast shape in this. Everyone's.
Jillian's for real crazy now. Like, she's for real crazy.
Yeah, she just, like, sits in her room and, like, her hair is just, like, bleached and crinkly, and she just puts on makeup. Like, she doesn't really talk or do much.
Troy travels the world.
Yep. Heaven and Tony also travel, like, when she's between her colleges.
Yep. And then she's having a I don't know when she comes back, but Troy's, like, gazing at the sea, and he's like, we had a party. Troy was back. And she's like, Troy was back?
Tony.
No, like, Troy was back.
I know, but you said Troy was gazing at the sea.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid that their names are so close. Another trope of VC. Gotta have close names. So she was restless after school was gone, and so she went up to Maine for 10 days on a vacation.
That's right. And that's when Troy returned, and Tony threw him a party with women's to distract him. And there was, like, a very clingy women's who wouldn't let him be sad.
Yeah, one lady was like a bitch.
And he rebuffed her, and she was like, fuck you!
And then he's like, you know what? I'm taking this horse.
Jillian's horse that no one can control but Jillian. Abdul-Bar. I just wrote in all caps, May's confused horse.
Yeah.
Because he wrote it.
He tried to ride it through the maze, and apparently the horse jumped over. First of all, I don't think there was enough room. Second of all,
May's confused horse.
Was this, like, hedge maze, like, 3 feet high? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, May's confused horse.
And the horse ran into the sea.
Just ran into the ocean.
That's right there on the property.
Yep. And then Troy was like, shit, I should probably help this horse. And then, like, the horse came out, but Troy did not. They found his body at dawn. His body was recovered at dawn, is what Tony said. And Heaven's like, fuck.
So, Heaven's one true is to go back to Winter Road to be a teacher like Miss Marianne Dio. Mm-hmm.
Which is lovely. She wants to give the little kids some hope.
Yeah, sure. So, before she does that... So, I'm gonna say 3 words to you.
No.
And they are, die job, woof.
Yeah. She's like, I went to do something I've always wanted to do.
What?
Because she looked like her mother,
I
but for her
know.
dark hair.
Why do you need to do that?
Because she always wanted her light, silvery blonde.
No
as her mom.
Castile scumminess.
No. So she goes and dyes her fucking hair.
That's a long process if you
really
have
is.
dark, brown, black hair.
Yep.
To go to Blondie Blonde Town.
Yep. And apparently her hair was the Tatterton hair, which gets frizzy in the rain.
Tapered Tatterton hair.
Ugh.
So she does this to get some sort of revengeance upon Pa.
Yeah. She just wants to be able to look at how much you're going to see me now. Because he never looked at her. Yep.
So, what done happens?
She rolls back into town and, like, goes
With her dye job.
Yep. And sees people. Logan's like, I liked your hair better before. And then she goes to the circus, like, one night with, I think, like, with the fam. With, like, Fanny, and that's when she finds out Tom's a clown. Because she, like, trips over his feet, and she's like, get your feet out of my way. And he's like, sorry. And she's like, oh my God, Tom. And then she comes back the next night, like, to
do her thing.
To, like, get Pa's attention, to make him finally look at her. So, yeah, so it's, like, in between stuff, like, Pa, apparently, the dude who was supposed to watch over the lion tamer got too drunk to work. Like, he was the guy who was, like, gonna put a cap into a lion.
If it got out of control.
If they got out of control. And for some reason, also, there was a new lion, and people in the crowd were apparently lion experts. Saying things like,
it's
the new lion! He's freaking out! So Heaven goes over to, like, just kind of, like, watch Pa from the side, and Tom scuttles over, and he's like, don't distract him right now. Like, you can't, like, he's gotta watch this
doing
guy.
your weirdness.
Yeah, stop being weird, dude. And then, like, meanwhile, Pa notices Heaven standing there.
Angel.
And she's like, oh my God, he knows it's me. And then he was like, Angel? And she's like, fuck, he still thinks I'm my mom. That was the point of your hair dye. Anyway.
Why would you do that? Unless...
And then she was like, oh, I'm so upset. I ran from the tent. And then 2 fucking seconds later, what happens?
Chaos.
Chaos erupts.
Chaos happens. There's just chaos. Those lions were very cunning to wait until Paul was distracted.
He dropped his fucking weapon.
They were calculating the exact moment.
Yep, they had
to maul him.
They had those visors.
That old-timey accountants have.
Yep,
they had those little lamps too.
Yep, absolutely.
And Tom rushed in to, like, distract them
because people were, like, running out. She's like, "What happened?" She's like, "The lions! They're insane! They're mauling the
everything
lion tamer and the one guy and another guy."
So Tom's dead.
Yep, Pa gets mauled. Tom goes in there first, trying to shoot stuff. He saves the lion tamer.
He's a hero.
Who's got 4 kids or something.
He saves he becomes a hero, but he's dead.
Yep,
mauled.
and all of Winterow now respects him. And it wasn't Heaven with her fancy car and her fancy jewels and her fancy suits.
Her fancy dye jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Pa does live. There's
Heaven's
that.
Pissed.
Mm-hmm. And there's the funeral.
And then Grandpa dies.
Whatever.
A couple months later.
I think that she is like, fuck you, Tony Tatterton of Tatterton Toys.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a teacher in Winterow. I'm living in the cabin now. And she says, I knew that through the next chapter it would be as Mrs. Stonewall.
Yeah.
And my last note is, fuck Logan Stonewall.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not, when I go back to Farthie, I'm not going to go back as a Castile or a Tatterton. I'll be a Stonewall. And we're like, what?
That's the end. I'll be a Stonewall.
Yep, that was it. The end.
I mean, I kind of legitimately hate Logan Stonewall.
I don't know. I might be starting to hate him, but I also just know what it's like to have conflicted feelings. And I think that you got to give people a little bit.
These aren't people.
I know they're not people, but reading about people, if you can get mad at them as characters, you can also empathize with them as characters.
You know, people are the peoplest people that you people. So a lot happens in this book, is what I'm saying. A lot happens. I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more
than the first one.
Yeah.
There's lots of action.
There was a lot of action, a lot of sexual burgeoning that felt a little bit more appropriate than 11-year-olds.
Yeah, because also Heaven, when Troy was like, no, you're not old enough. She's like, I am old enough. And he was like, oh, I still don't think, I'm still way older than you. I don't know.
There was like a strong theme of consent.
There was a much stronger theme of consent for sure, yes.
There's intrigue, there's riches, and incest.
And, someone falls for their half-uncle.
Half-uncle.
Surprise.
And someone rapes their stepdaughter.
Surprise.
Surprise. Woo!
We're only in book 2.
We're only
There's
in book
3
2.
more.
There's 3 more. So go get it. Get your books on. That's it.
I recommend Thrift Books. We are not sponsored, but
We
Thrift
are
Books
not
is
sponsored.
sick.
But it's so good. You also get to specify which one you want.
Yeah.
I always get the cheap one.
I always try to get those mass markets with a little cutout.
Is that what mass market means?
Yeah. They're they're little brick books. They're all the same height.
Oh, okay. I literally just select the cheapest.
Yeah.
The cutout's nice.
Mm-hmm. They don't all have them, but
No.
they're more...
Peer through it, like you're in the story.
Hello.
That's it, and keep reading.
Yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. If you have any feedback, suggestions,
Keep them
clapbacks,
Keep them to yourself.
or email us at vcspiecespodcast@gmail.com.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to VC's Pieces Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it.
Technical support was provided by Boo and Matt. Thanks for answering all of my stupid questions.
Music is Dust on My Attic by Broke MC, used under Creative Commons license.
Email us at vcspiecespodcast@gmail.com with your thoughts or comments.
Hey, you can also follow us on Instagram. We are at VC's Pieces Podcast.
New episodes are released every other Friday to give you time to read along. In the meantime, sell your family, touch your Tatterton toy, and try to scrub off the filth of being hill scum.